This drawer. It might look like your average full extension drawer installed on your average standing desk, but if you know me at all, I wouldn't make a video about just any regular drawer. No, this drawer, while it does have a few special tricks up its sleeve, ultimately it represents the beginning of a new era.
My name is Jeff, and I'm an absolute slob.
What I've recommended to people is clean up your room. That's a good start.
And so that's interesting to put it in that context and like, okay, like this is a real problem and not just something that like, oh, I don't want to clean up.
And we say, ask yourself a handful of questions like, what's your biggest challenge or frustration when it comes to getting organized?
I actually wasn't even planning on making a video about this because I'm right in the middle of doing another light fixture video, but I figured I have to get this done anyways. This room is such a mess and I need to use it, so may as well just film it, make a quick little video about it. So I'm just gonna focus on really quickly putting stuff away here. I'm not gonna try and be too detailed about my organization right now. Just wanna get everything off the floor, everything somewhat organized because I wanna just focus on the desk today. So that's the plan. Why am I so messy? Comes down to a few factors. Definitely shop infrastructure. Additionally, when I'm working on a project, I tend to get tunnel vision. I really like, I try to avoid letting anything get in the way when I'm working on something. My mind is pretty focused on this one thing, so putting things back isn't necessarily on the top of my priority list. It's a little bit of an organized chaos. Like I tend to know where things are. I don't really use this lighter. But, I think it's okay. I've literally got a broken glass vase in here, bunch of random things. Is that a Santa hat? Yeah, I think it is. But just tons of, boxes full of random tools and bits and 3D printer garbage. These cabinets here these are a disaster. I don't even have any shelves in here. Just a big open space there. So, and then this is the desk where I hope to really make a difference in here, but let's just finish cleaning first and then we'll get to that.
Kind of just sounds like a lot of excuses.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but it's something that I've been dealing with for a long time, really. Okay, so obviously that's not super clean yet. I just kind of wanted to clear the floor mostly, but let me show you here. So I've got room to actually walk around in here, but I mostly wanted to clear the area under the desk because I want to show you what my plan is for this thing. So I've seen quite a few videos about actually adding drawers to a standing desk like this, and this is just a standard standing desk. I don't know what brand it is, but the thing that I haven't seen done yet in one of these videos, and I find it pretty hard to believe, they usually have these little dinky drawers that come out just a little bit because there's a big bar under here that gets in the way and really, takes up more than half of the drawer. So what I want to do, I want to use these drawer slides and I want to put full depth drawers on this desk so that I can take advantage of this whole space and have drawers that come out to here essentially. So as you can see, there's quite a bit that goes on under here, but in reality, it's actually really simple. It's just these edge bolts here. So my thinking is that all I need to do is build a big drawer box that is the exact same size as the tabletop here. And then I can essentially unbolt the tabletop, lift it up, put the drawer box under, and then bolt the drawer box to the same place that the tabletop is bolted to. I think it should be relatively easy. I've never seen anybody do it quite like that, which is odd to me, but maybe I'll find out why nobody's done that yet. Maybe there's some glaring issue that I haven't thought about, but let's just go for it because we're running out of time here. I got to get this done ASAP. One of the big issues I have with cupboards like this, if I need to grab something from back there, I end up just pulling things off the shelf to get to them, and that's a problem. I would love to be able to never have to take something out to grab the thing behind it. You know, all of this empty space down here just collects clutter. All these boxes in here, I basically never use them. This cupboard, for example, is supposed to be my tool cupboard. The problem is I end up just sticking these tools in here haphazardly. That's the CNC area, and I'm not even gonna go there right now. It's just a disaster. I want to try and avoid just throwing everything in boxes, because that's always my issue. I just throw things in boxes, forget about them, and then I never find them. And then, you know, they end up laying on each other like that, and then I end up pulling them out, and then, you know, I just basically need each tool to have a really specific spot, and right now I don't, so I end up just never putting anything back in there, and it just piles up on the counter like this. And then when I do need something, you'll see that one's empty there. I end up just putting the box on the ground, sorting through it, and then in the zone, I'm too focused on what I'm doing. I don't put the box back up in the thing. Over here, I've got my tool drawer, which honestly, this is quite nice. I know where everything is. I kind of, you know, if I need a screwdriver, if I need bits, I know this is the drawer. I would love everything in the shop to be like this. I think the answer is just drawers on everything.
So I'm just on my way back from the hardware store. Picked up a half panel of 3/4 inch plywood. I think it's birch plywood. I did a little 3D model before leaving, and I think that should be enough wood. I'm just excited to jump into the shop and start cutting away.
Oh, right.
I know it seems like I'm cleaning a lot in this video, and that's not necessarily the best content, but I just felt like it was necessary to show you guys just how badly I can let things get sometimes. Especially since I'm guilty of cutting some of these messy parts out of my previous videos. If any of you have similar issues, hopefully this will give you some solace in knowing that I can also be a total mess. And at the very least, this might help me stay accountable knowing that you will be keeping tabs on me in future videos.
It's still pretty shit, but at least I can work in here.
So there we have it. This is my new drawer. It's pretty much a standard drawer. There's a couple little things about this that I wanted to obviously explain. So first of all, you'll notice the double level drawer here. Basically, what I want is I want this first level to be kind of like a keyboard tray. So I'm gonna have my keyboard, little MIDI controller, maybe a little drum machine, that kind of thing. And then we have the back portion here, which will be storage, essentially. I might do a little Gridfinity thing in there, but for now I'm just going to mostly put my camera gear, extra audio equipment, that kind of stuff in there. Now we're going to get into some of the more odd parts of this drawer system. So obviously with having the keyboard tray here, I don't want to have a front permanently attached to this, but I do want to have a front there when it's closed. So I need a front that somehow gets out of the way when I'm not using it. Now initially I was thinking about doing like a little kind of flappy thing, but the problem with that is when the drawer is pulled out fully, the front would remove some of the access I have to the back of the drawer there. So I really want to maintain full access to this drawer. Comes out right to the edge right now. I really like that. So the other thing that I need to solve is the fact that the ideal working situation when I'm using my keyboards and such will be to have the drawer sitting at about there. I want to figure out a way that I can somehow lock it in this position when I'm using my keyboards, because I don't want this to be moving around at all. And I think I have a solution where I can solve both the drawer front and this locking mechanism at the same time. It's a bit of an experiment. I have no idea if it's going to work. If it works, it's going to be super cool. Yeah, hopefully we end up with something pretty unique here. The idea here is this will be free to pivot. And then I'm going to bend this, and that's how it'll attach to the drawer front. And that'll allow the drawer front, ideally, to be able to pivot down just out of the way. Adam Savage recently said in one of his shop tours that every single shop as set up is an externalization of a philosophy about how to do work. And sometimes that's positive, sometimes that's negative,
but mostly the shop exemplifies what who built it thinks about how to get work done. Now my question to you is, do you feel like this resonates with your situation at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Adam Savage fan. I grew up watching Mythbusters. I think that's a big reason why I love to build stuff today. The quote makes a lot of sense. I think that certainly has some merit to it. I don't think that's my case necessarily. You know, if that were my case, then I would basically be admitting that my mind is pretty chaotic as well. I think I'm pretty organized up there.
Losing my mind, I am losing my mind. Where's my little clamps?
I have no idea where I am right now.
Where's a wedge? I can't find anything in here. Found you, this new wedgie.
Okay, so I kind of got it here. It rubs a little bit still, but it's an easy enough fix. I can just kind of sand the corners there. But I think that's going to work pretty well. I'm going to print some tracks that are going to go on the inside of the drawer box. So essentially I'll have some pins on the side here. As you pull the drawer out, so it'll be up in this position. As you pour the drawer out, that pin will ride on a track that will lower this. And that's where I can put my lock in, because I can essentially have a little divot in the track that will make the pins fall into the track and lock the drawer in keyboard mode. And then to release it, I'll just have to lift up on this a little bit, and that'll allow me to pull the rest of the drawer out. And then when I put it back in, again, it'll lift the drawer front up automatically and should put it right back into this position. So this was supposed to be a very quick build, and I just ended up spending the last few hours just fine-tuning this mechanism. And it's still not perfect, but I gotta show you this. Just keep an eye on the drawer front there, and you'll see as I open it, and there it's locked in place. So now this is in keyboard mode. It's a little wigglier than I would have liked. I could tune that by just adjusting the track a bit, but I don't really want to take it apart anymore because this has taken way too long already. But now, when it's in this position, I'm here typing away, everything's great. I need something from the storage compartment. Keep in mind there's going to be a tabletop on this. You just lift up on this a little bit, and then you can pull the whole thing out. And then to put it back, it'll re-engage, and there we're back into this mode again, keyboard mode again. And then technically the track is loose enough that you actually don't need to lift up on this at all. You could theoretically just push and it will break out of the keyboard mode, but you know, it's just as easy to lift that since you'd be pushing on this anyways. But then when you're all done, and I'm just going back here so you guys can see, but once you're all done, you pull this back, drawer front lifts up, right back into position. Oh, I'm so happy that worked. I'm so happy that worked. Yeah, that's the shop guitar. I dabble on it whenever I can. I'm not very good, but I actually have been working on a little song about trying to keep organized, and that might be kind of fun for this video. It's a never-ending game to try and organize my things. I keep piling them in boxes upon boxes. That's where this all begins. I'm done with making up excuses. I'm the only one to blame. But the truth is, all the things I'm using need their own special place. Oh, it's a chore, but it's time that I address this. Never made much sense avoiding all these messes. I'll take my time and I'll break it into stages. And all those boxes will have dedicated spaces. No more hoards, no more stacking. And I'll use drawers wherever I can manage. And of course, there's the mess inside my brain. That's the first thing that I'll change. So the desk is complete, mostly. There's a couple things I still want to try and figure out. I never really put that much thought into the cable management for it. And obviously the storage situation is just kind of loose right now. So I just want to live with this for a little bit, figure out where I like things, figure out how I'm going to be using it before I really commit to any of those details. But other than that, I'm pretty darn happy with it. There's a couple little things that I would have changed if I could do this again. Probably the biggest thing is this drawer front here. I was being cheap and I just had some 1/2-inch MDF. It's a little too flexible. It kind of bugs me. I might change this out at some point. The other things that I didn't really think about, I didn't plan ahead for the actual controls of the standing desk. I don't use them very frequently anyways. So mounting it on the side here was fine, but I think I should probably incorporate it a little bit nicer. And then lastly, I forgot that I had my monitor mounted on an arm, and I also had a microphone mounted on an arm that doesn't work now unless I drill into the top of this, which I don't want to do. So I had to put my monitor back on its original stand, which will work fine for now. I think I'm going to build sort of a wall system in the back where I can mount the monitor directly to it. Maybe have some sort of modular thing with some really good cable management built into that. But of course that will be for another video. But other than that, yeah, like I feel really good about how easy it is to switch between working modes from the, you know, just sitting at my desk to doing voiceovers where I need to be standing up. All of it's really accessible, all of it's really quite nice to use. So now obviously the storage in this desk is not big enough to fix all of my messiness problems that I have in my shop and my office. In fact, both of those places are still quite messy. But what it did do is it showed me that all this thought that I've been putting into organizing and building shop infrastructure and building my office out, I think thinking about this stuff is helpful, but it doesn't mean anything until I actually put it into use. So for me, the fact that this is done now, a project that I've been thinking about for months, and to crank it out in a couple days and have it work and have it make a noticeable impact on the way I'm going to be doing work in the future, it's kind of a big deal for me.
So is it just the shop that's this messy?
Oh, I wish. Actually, my office is somehow even worse than this. And yeah, I've been meaning to build some drawers to the standing desk I have in there. And honestly, that I think would be such a huge improvement. Just that one thing, but like everything else, I've just been putting it off.
Well, how long would it take you to do that?
Probably could crank it out in a day or two.
Why
But
don't you just do it right now?
when you put it that way, what am I waiting for, right? Yeah, I mean, it'd be super easy.